Tens of thousands of angry protesters, mostly youngsters, forced their entry into Pakistan's federal capital Islamabad. It is a massive crowd and unprecedented since April 2022 when the agitation campaign was launched against the ruling party and the military over their controversial role in unceremonious removal of the government of the then Prime Minister Imran Khan. The angry protesters are not willing to settle down on anything short of securing the release of their jail leader Imran Khan. Khan was arrested in August last year on what he says politically motivated frivolous charges ranging from corruption to terrorism.
जब तक इमरान खान को नहीं छोड़ेंगे हम यहाँ से नहीं जाएंगे। जितनी लाशें गिराना चाहे पहले गोली हम कहेंगे, दूसरी ये कहेंगे। पेशावर से आए हैं, कारोबारी लोग, सियासी कोई नहीं है हमारा। इमरान खान से इश्क है और जब तक वो उनको रिहा नहीं किया जाएगा हमारी लाशें यहाँ से जाएगी, हम जिंदा नहीं जाएंगे।
बलूचिस्तान से रवाना हुआ, खुदा की कसम ना हमारा नहीं है, हम इंशाल्लाह डी चौक पहुंचेगा, चाहे हमारा जान चले जाए हम डी चौक पहुंचेगा। जब तक हमारा मुतालिबात तस्लीम नहीं होगा, खान साहब को रिहा नहीं किया जाएगा, उस वक्त तक हम डी चौक से पीछे नहीं हटेंगे। चाहे हमारी लीडरशिप चला जाए हम नहीं जाएंगे।
Like elsewhere in Pakistan, there have been pitched battles at entry point of capital city's red zone where key state buildings and installations are located. Briefly, parts of red zones were occupied by the protesters who were later pushed back several hundred meters away by the security forces. The ruling party fears protesters want to occupy the red zone to pressurize the government to release Imran Khan, revoke alleged forged election results and reverse controversial legislation to cover up of what opposition parties believe a massive electoral fraud. The government denies the charges. Many protesters were killed and scores were injured in what seems to be indiscriminate firing by the security forces. The government has also reported that few of their security personnel died while dozens were injured in the clashes.
स्टेट फायर मारे हैं, 6 लड़कों को लगी है 2 जगह पे ही और 4 जख्मी हालत में एम्बुलेंस लेके।
हाँ जी, एम्बुलेंस लेके बच्चा भी था।
रेंजेस मार रही है, रेंजेस
बिल्कुल स्टेट फायर,
स्टेट फायरिंग कर रहे हैं।
शैलिंग इन्होंने बहुत दूर रखी, स्टेट फायर मार रही है।
हम वज़ीरिस्तान से आया है, उधर हम पुरअमन एहतजाज करता है, फिर भी आर्मी ने, पुलिस ने नहीं, आर्मी ने फुल शॉट फायरिंग किया, सीधा गोली चलाए, 6 बंदे, 1 शहीद हो गया, 5 जख्मी। तो उसका अस्पताल से रिजल्ट आया कि 3 शहीद हो गया। हम इसका परवाह है, हर एक को इस तरह परवाह है।
1 साल का बच्चा भी,
1 साल का बच्चा है।
The government claims to have largely evicted protesters from the red zone after what appears to be excessive use of force against them.
एक चीज़ उनको क्लियर हो जाए कि ना तो उनके इस आने से को मुज़ाकरात का सिलसिला शुरू होगा, ना उनसे किसी किस्म के मुज़ाकरात होंगे। उन्होंने आके देखना था, देख लिया। अब अगर वो ये तवक्को करें कि उनके साथ मुज़ाकरात होने, वो कोई सूरत नहीं है।
At the heart of the deepening economic and political crisis in Pakistan is the disputed general elections held early this year. The PTI, the mainstream opposition party, has come up with a plausible hard evidence showing on how their candidates in fact had won with a 2/3 majority votes. Nonetheless, according to the PTI, the military allegedly pressurized the Election Commission of Pakistan, which tempered and forged the final election results and deprived the PTI to farm the federal government, and instead the power was handed over to a minority party, the current ruling party, which had won just 17 seats in the National Assembly. The internet service largely remains suspended with little transport on the road across Pakistan, something which is likely to further aggravate economic and political crisis in Pakistan in days to come. Javed Rana, Dropside News, Islamabad. The growing tide of anti-Israel sentiments What you see behind me is just tip of the iceberg of what is happening in the country. More than half of $52 billion black CIA budget is spent on espionage network in Pakistan. How would you handle it?
The US has looked upon Pakistan as an ally at one point and then as an enemy at the same time.
That is going to be the first legal reason on the basis of which he is going to be instantly ousted by the Supreme Court of Pakistan.
Joining us live, Javed Rana, who's an expert on politics and geostrategic issues.
In the world politics, which is not being driven by any moral principle, it is being driven by the hard geostrategic realities. In a broader picture, more countries would aspire to have nuclear weapons.